So there we go. Here we are. We are live. Got it done. Yay. So welcome everyone to watching us today on Facebook, and then where this will be uploaded later. And today I am here with Sylvia Hubbard, and we'll be reading out of my book, Because You Matter. It's Danielle Burnock at danielleburnock.com, and Love Yourself from Survive to Thrive. And I'm just really excited to have Sylvia on here today because her story is amazing. And I'm just very thankful that I got to meet her at the Rochester Writers Conference, and I will never look at peas the same again. So thank you, Sylvia, for coming on here and doing this with me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. It was an honor to be a part of the anthology, and just knowing you, you're just the sunshine wherever you go. So thank you.
You're so sweet. Oh, thank you so much. I can't wait for people to hear your story. So it's just, you've accomplished so much where so many other people would give up. And so on top of it being an amazing story, I'm just really proud of you as a woman for what you have accomplished.
Thank you.
What you've been through. So I just want to say that. So we'll start reading the story and we'll stop and chat however we want.
Okay.
Going. So how Sylvia took ownership of her life. Because you've gone through something, find a way, a healthy way to get through it instead of an unhealthy way. Sylvia Hubbard. Sylvia is one of the most resilient people I've ever met. Definitely. We became acquainted at the Rochester Writers 2019 Spring Conference, where she was the keynote speaker. I asked to interview her for this book after learning how she lost everything in a house fire and rebuilt her life. She took ownership of her life when the fire happened, but the power within her to do so originated from a decision she made after her 8th grade graduation. Sylvia's ability to rise above the trauma she endured at the tender age of 14 amazed me. It did, because I had trauma when I was 14 and I wasn't resilient. It submarined me. I had no such inner strength when I was her age. Something we share, though, is having craved the love of our dad and going without that need being met. In Sylvia's case, she told me about how hard she worked in her 8th grade year to earn the approval and respect of her father. Her plan was to earn excellent grades, multiple awards, and certificates to be presented at the graduation for her dad to see. Over and over before graduation came, she'd remind him,
"My 8th grade graduation is coming up."
Her hungry child heart drew pictures in her mind of her dad's glowing face.
Saying, "Wow, look, she's being called on stage all the times and people are recognizing her and saying what awesome person that I am."
She couldn't wait to experience the great day she planned, but it didn't go that way.
No.
He didn't show up for the ceremony, and her tenacious hope continued. Standing outside after everyone else left, she waited, making excuses for him.
Maybe he was running late.
For over 2 hours, she waited in the dark. He never showed. She started to walk home, carrying the evidence she'd gathered to convince her father she mattered, crying.
Why didn't he come for me?
Devastated, she fell on the railroad track, tearing her stockings, and sobbed.
I tried to be the best that I could be for him.
Her innate resilience stood her to her feet. Her heart took ownership of her value, declaring she'd never be a people pleaser again. Wow. When I read that, it's like, wow.
Yeah, you have to, I can still remember it, just staring at the ground and seeing the trophies there. It was really hard, but then it's like, if I had tried more to please myself, I wouldn't be in this predicament. So I kind of just walked it all back. You just, where did it start? And that's how I think how pain should always be addressed. Where did it start? How can I help it and make myself better instead of just trying to band-aid something? Try to really heal it.
Right, definitely. She decided she was going to be better for herself and not dependent on anyone else's opinion. When she got home, her father yelled at her for coming home late and berated her. Her evidence meant nothing to him. As she laid in her bed that night, she reaffirmed her decision. This was her life, and she would be living it for Sylvia. That decision saved her 15 years of grief. It wasn't just her dad. There were multiple bullies tearing her down, but she developed a way to process the trauma she went through. How Sylvia dealt with her pain was through writing and storytelling. Her mom, who she credits for teaching her the art of storytelling. When Sylvia was little, she lied to her mother frequently and was disciplined for it. In addition to,
A butt woman.
Sylvia had writing assignments regarding the lies. Through this, she fell in love with writing, how words grow into worlds and how good stories move people. Her writing became her
superpower.
Yeah. As she took in the pain and she endured, owned it, and then released it on paper, as she powerfully put it.
Release it in your stories. You got to take that pain and you got to remember it, because when you put it on paper, that's when you're putting the power down and releasing it. You're getting it out of you and you're using it, and you're using it for good for someone else.
Amen. Such resilience. Taking the pain and repackaging it to help others. Sylvia has been doing this for years. She has independently published 40 books. It's probably more than that now, right?
It's now over 50 now. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. She has, I already said that. Yes, 40, now 50. To Sylvia, this is nothing. It's just what she does. But the rest of us are amazed. And I'm sure everyone watching this is going, what? What? What?
Right.
It's so interesting how Sylvia doesn't understand our amazement, and we don't understand how she could write 40 books effortlessly, now 50.
No.
But it was work, good work,
Mhm.
and therapeutic.
Yeah.
It's her superpower at work, owning who she is, because she knows she matters. She knows that stories matter and that sharing them is important. Through our stories, we impact one another and alter the course of each other's lives. This is why Sylvia encourages others to write their stories.
So I tell people to tell your story. I mean, it may sound like the craziest story in the whole world, but you never know how that story is going to help others.
Right. That's how I felt when I released my first book. It's like, this sounds like crazy, but it helped others.
Your mess is your message. So,
Yeah.
Own that mess and give it out to the world. So
Right.
that's what heals you.
Right. That's like what Brene Brown says, talking about the bravest thing you'll ever do is own your story. And once you own it and you share it with someone, then you get this revelation of, wow, that really helps someone.
Right. Because no one can hurt you after that once you own it. I think
Right.
about that moment in 8 Mile movie when Eminem, he just took everything that was bad about him and put it out there. So no one else can hurt him anymore. He owned that pain. And that's what made him stronger. So, and that's how we all are. Just own your crap, no matter how bad it smells. Own it.
I like that. Own your crap, no matter how bad it smells. I love that.
I'm a TM. I'm a TM now. I'm sorry.
It's good. This is what we're here for. This exchange, just that's not a monologue. 15 years after the trauma with her dad and her life-altering decision, something amazing happened. She had an interview to attend out in White Lake, Michigan, about her work in the community, and her car broke down. It's not like it's good that her car broke down, but it turned into something good, though.
Great.
Needing a ride, she did something she never did. She asked her dad. It was a big ask. It was an hour drive each way, plus she would need him to stay during the interview to drive her home. Reluctantly, he agreed to. The interview went great. Afterward, while Sylvia went to the bathroom, the lady who interviewed her went off on her dad about how amazing Sylvia is and how proud he must be, and listing all the wonderful things that she's done. He was polite and thanked her, but after in the car, he turned to Sylvia, and for the first time, he saw her and he spoke.
You're a really good daughter. You've done some really good stuff, and I'm proud of you.
Wow. Wow. After 15 years, the validation she craved so badly at 14 came from his lips. Sylvia said it felt great, but she didn't need it anymore because she owned who she was. As a young teenager, she'd taken ownership of who she was and what she would become. That is so powerful. That's why this book, I have to get to Own Your Life, because when you owned that, it just changed everything.
Yeah, it made me aware of, when people were using me, it made me honest with myself. Like when things would happen, I own that. Okay, this happened because if I had done this, okay, I know. And you start learning, really learning from your mistakes and really seeing who should I have around me? Who's in my circle helping me?
Right.
Because if you're not there to help me, then you're there to hinder me. And I mean, my dad even said, you're either earning or learning. So every experience that comes to you, that's what you have to go back to the original problem, find out how it happened and how to prevent it later on. We can't stop life from happening, but you can help yourself become a better person the next day.
Right. It's all about how we respond to it. That's the only thing we really have control over.
Right. So definitely.
There we go. If she hadn't, she would have spent those 15 years.
Oh, if she had, I'm sorry, groveling and making him responsible for every bad decision
she made in her life. Instead, she became a person for herself and not anybody else. Suffering happens to all of us. How we respond determines the course of our lives. We can choose to learn and make use of the pain like Sylvia did, instead of making excuses that allow our pain to hurt others. Life is only so long. Sylvia talked about how brief our lives are and how every moment matters. Making use of every moment is important. Then a moment happened when Sylvia had another opportunity to take ownership.
So yeah, when the fire happened, it was kind of like, what the heck? What the crap? What did I do to deserve this?
Nothing.
Nothing. I know.
Yeah, but that's how we feel when that happens. It sucker punches us. That's the first thing we're like, what did I do?
And you get so mad when people come to you. When that does happen, I'm going to tell people, don't start saying good things happen bad things happen to good people. Stop saying that to people, because that really angers them, because then it just retracts that, okay, maybe I need to lose faith. Maybe I need to lose hope. That saying does not help anybody. So please take that out of your vocabulary, because I wanted to punch people in the face for, oh, bad things happen to good people all the time. No, it doesn't. Stop it.
Sylvia's home burned to the ground.
In 8 minutes.
Wow. Just pause. You who are listening, pause. 8 minutes burned to the ground. Imagine that.
And just watching everything that you own, that you gathered, that you collected, just gone.
Wow. She and her children escaped with their lives. Questions and emotions raged in her soul with the force of a freight train. She had been at a comfortable place, working hard, doing the best she could. It didn't make sense. Her son voiced how how she did so much for so many. They felt undeserved punishment. That's what trauma does. It cuts to the fiber of your being.
And that's what's really scary when your spirituality is being challenged like this. That really takes you to another place where you start to question everything that you have ever done. And like, was it worth it? Was it worth caring? Was it worth sharing? Was it worth, being out there in the community? I mean, was it even worth praying? Because if 8 minutes in your life is nothing, then what is the point? And that's where you come to that place. That's where you're cut and you're bleeding more than blood. You're bleeding your heart, soul out because you don't know where to go. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
No, sorry. This is important. This is important. People need to see this, and then they're like, well, I went through this, and then they can relate to it in their own way, and it can encourage them to take ownership. And we'll get to where you are now, and then they'll go, wow. We go on the journey and we take them with us.
Right.
But the resilience she built through the choice she made as a youth empowered her to take ownership and start working her way through. Sylvia was tenacious. She refused the victim mindset to sit around waiting for grants to help. It's a good thing because organizations didn't contact her offering to help for months. And this is a good timing for this to be reading this, because there are people who are going to be needing help, and it would be to their advantage to take ownership and pick up their pieces and not wait for other people. Now,
right. Yeah, I learned the system is not just going to be there for you. A lot of people were saying, well, get this assistance, and I realized it's you have to really go out there and you have to look for other ways to supplement income, to provide for your kids. You have to go out there and you cannot sit there and say, well, I'm waiting for Red Cross to call, because sometimes that won't even happen, because it didn't even happen for, like you said, for months. So if I had really done that, I would have not been able to see other opportunities that were just there for me, that I could just reach up and grab. It would have been farther and farther away. So I'm glad.
So this is inspiring. I think this is a timely message for that to get out there.
Right.
By then, let me see, it was help for 4 months. By then, she was already working on her new home with Habitat for Humanity. See, right then, she didn't wait, and she was already in process of rebuilding when help showed up. Oh, maybe can we help you a little? Like, well, you can add to the help, yeah.
Right.
Right? But I'm not sitting on my hands. So.
But that help should be, and people don't realize this, that help should be a cherry on top of a sundae. Like I can eat it. It could make my sundae taste a little better, but I really could pick you off and still be able to carry on and eat a good sundae. A lot of people think, oh, the help should be the banana or the ice cream or even the topping. No, that it should be a cherry on top of a sundae that you've already built, that is already good. You're just making it just a little bit better. We shouldn't depend upon outside help. We should depend upon ourselves in order to get stuff done, and use it like that cherry. It just goes with the flavor of whatever you built.
Right. Preach.
Right.
Where was I? As I said in the other ones, it's like, this is not like when Audible where, it's been edited. So we get to
so Habitat for Humanity. Right. So Habitat for Humanity. And that's the Detroit office. And I do give them a lot of praise for coming in and showing me everything that I need to do, not only in purchasing a house, but also just everything in my life and everything like that. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's a great organization. We've worked with it before and helped build houses and stuff. So yeah, I'm a big advocate of them. And that is how Sylvia is. If something doesn't go right, she moves in another direction. And if that doesn't work, she'll move in a different direction again, because she knows her value. Knowing your value is vital. It drives our purpose in life. When we look at all the things Sylvia has accomplished and is still doing, 10 more books since this book was published last fall. Oh my goodness. We see how her ownership of her value has propelled her. It's where she says she gets her strength, courage, and tenacity because she takes ownership of her value. She owns the circumstances in her life and chooses to move forward. Sylvia carries a strong sense of community. Helping others is part of who she is and the message she spreads. She encourages others to put value in themselves when things aren't going according to plan. We're living and things aren't going to plan.
Right. I think every day we wake up and we're like, oh my God, I didn't expect that. For 70 days, that's all we're like, oh my God. You're like, didn't I say this yesterday? It's like a groundhog day. Like, oh my God, like this is happening again. That's what it feels like. 70 days of groundhogging.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead.
No, that's fine. And if it doesn't work, then to help someone else. Helping others will help you.
They become better when you become better. And I always say it's because you have to know, you have to always, in my rules of living, I always say expect the worst, but plan for things to work out. And I know that sounds horrible because then you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop, but when you're always expecting the worst, then you're seeing like the worst and then saying, okay, how can I help this person, or should I help this person? But when you do, you learn from their mistakes. So watching people, that need help and seeing that they genuinely honest, just didn't know how to get out of that situation and doing what I could to help them. Well, it in turn helped me learn like, okay, if that does happen to me, I know what I have to do. So we don't always got to eat dirt in order to learn from life. Sometimes you can go and help somebody. Hey, that dirt don't have to taste like that. Let me help you eat something better. You can go help somebody else who already eaten dirt, but learn from them. Learn from what their mistakes was, learn how they got themselves in that situation. And then when you see your life going down that same road, you can be like, ooh, that sounds like,
hold it. Oh, pull back
wait
the
a minute.
reins.
Warning. But it does, it makes you better because you help them, you become even a better person.
Right.
So why not help people,
Right.
I'm all for it.
Awesome. Me too. We're helping people today. Sylvia wants everyone to take this kind of ownership. It grieves her when people come to her saying they can't do something because of someone else. If you're feeling held back like that, ask yourself these 3 questions Sylvia offers. You read them.
Okay. Is this person paying your bills? Did this person breathe life into you? Are they some type of God or something? And number 3, why are you allowing someone to take away your happiness at all?
Yeah. Right.
And so it says, stop worrying about what other people are going to think or what other people are going to say. You're blocking your blessings in your life when you decide to let other people dictate over what you should be doing and what is meant for you to do. Because no one can live this life but you. And no one can come in and take your place. No, there's no soul exchange, the body exchanges that go on as much as we would love to. But you have to live this life and no one else can live it for you. And that's where you take the ownership of, I am going to live this life. I am going to find my happiness and I'm not going to let anybody drive me crazy. I'm not going to give no one the keys to drive me crazy.
The keys are mine.
Right. The keys, keep your keys, go steal somebody else's and drive them crazy, but you keep your keys to yourself.
Amen. Amen. Because Sylvia did this, in addition to her books, she's the founder of Motown Writers and Michigan Literary Network. Network. Right. Don't defer your life to someone else. Do what's in your heart. And to find out more about Sylvia and how to connect with her, get a copy of this book. It's available in paperback, Kindle, and Audible. If you get the Kindle, you can get it today. There's a live link in there. You can connect with her today. So get a copy of this book. Is there anything you'd like to add, Sylvia?
I would like to let everyone know just to take one day at a time. And I know it's hard, especially now. Take one day at a time. And people say, how do you still keep upbeat and how do you still keep, positive and moving forward? And that is because I want it. You have to want to be happy. You have to want, what's going to happen next. And you can handle it because you know that you are never given anything you can't handle. Never, ever, ever. You have the strength inside of you to do whatever is given to you. But sometimes you don't know. And sometimes you do have to sit back and say, wait a minute, how do I figure this out? But once you really think about it, and that's what happened to me, I would just really sit back whenever something slapped me in the face. And you're given that pop quiz in life, and that pop quiz, and you're like, it's a live or die situation. And you're like, God did not prepare me for this. But actually, if you live life, you helped others, you cared about yourself, you were already given preparation test questions to go and pass this pop quiz.
Yeah.
And once you learn that, and once you stick to those values, everything does work out. This too shall pass. And that is the most truest saying of it all. It too shall pass, but it's how you decide to pass it.
That's some wisdom there. It's up to you. It's up to you. You have the choice. It's
all up to you. Own it. Own your crap, no matter how it smells.
Exactly.
Parting words.
Yes. Well, thank you, Sylvia, for being here with me. And thank you, everyone, for watching at Danielle Burnock, DanielleBurnock.com, and Love Yourself from Survive to Thrive. How I've been saying for the last 70-some days, that lady on the internet that says she loves you, because I do. That's why I do what I do, because I do love you. And so until next time, thanks for joining us. I got different things popping up here. Can't get to Bye.